Alright guys, so it's been a while since I did a video like this, and honestly, that's what I feel like doing. But unlike the other videos that I did in this format, this one is actually a type of video that I agree with. One of this is a YouTuber that I've just been watching recently, and I think he's spot on about this, man. And if you haven't watched or seen the title already, How to Fix the Worst Console Generation of His Lifetime, no, he's wrong about that. This is the worst console generation, period. And if you don't think so, you're lying to yourself. You really are. So let's get started, shall we?
So I switched from console to PC back in like mid 2017, and if you're a regular viewer from the channel, sorry if you've heard this story before, you're gonna hear it again, so bear with me for like 40 seconds. But I was a console dude, you know? I sure did love the Xbox 360, I sure did love the Wii, I sure did love the PS2, but then halfway...
So did I. I thought those were awesome consoles too. Now I didn't really get to experience the Xbox 360 at its prime, unfortunately. But from what I did experience from the 360, and from what I gathered, the 360 was definitely one of the better consoles, or what was a good console, especially for the time. It's kind of like the PSP, right? How the PSP was amazing, it was a amazing portable for the time, and I still agree with that. I mean, it still is a decent portable when you play like games on it, but it's kind of hard to go back to. But you know what I mean. At the time, it was great. Being able to play GTA portably on there, that must have been a dream. I was stupid enough to do it, but, getting past that. Yeah, I also think that the 360, PS2, those consoles in general are the best, So, let's get started. Let's just continue.
Through the PS4, Xbox One generation, I started getting real annoyed at a few things. I got annoyed at how long loading times were and how chunky frame rates were, despite the hardware being a lot more expensive. I got annoyed he's constantly telling me how awesome and amazing and how big the evolution was of this generation, and yet I, as the consumer, as the gamer, wasn't really seeing it.
Okay, now to be fair, right here is where I sort of, not really much though, but sort of disagree. Because honestly, the PS4 and Xbox One did bring more possibilities in gaming. Not because of their hardware, oh no. It's because of the 360 and PS3 were so dated at the time that they needed some form of upgrade. And the PS4 and Xbox One were amazing for that. Dude, Batman Arkham Knight was only possible on the PS4 and Xbox One. You know what I mean? And then like whether we liked it or not, I mean, I definitely don't like the shitty God of War Ragnarok. I'm okay with 2018. That's what I'm getting at. God of War 2018 was more of a different experience at the time, and we forgave it for that, But like and then like we also got the Spider-Man PS4 game, which was again a more of a, not different, but it was a thing that brought back Spider-Man after a while with brand new hardware and brand new graphics and everything, right? So the PS4 and Xbox One, if you ask me, actually did a good job, like kind of innovating or upgrading from the PS3 and 360 in those terms only. Of course, for the first 2 years, there were the cross-generation platforms, which did, which, like, of course, didn't really do much for the PS4 and Xbox One and made them look bad, really. But hey, after a while, you had games that took advantage of the PS4 and Xbox One, like Dying Light, Mortal Kombat 10, right? All those were PS4 and Xbox One exclusive at the time, And then let's not forget Red Dead Redemption. Oh my god, that game looks amazing. Kingdom Hearts 3, even though I hate that stupid game, it does look graphically amazing. And like, I know that a game like that, really, like graphically, I mean, can't be done on the 360 and PS3, if I'm being honest. Not that it needs to, but I'm just pointing that out there, right? But Red Dead Redemption 2 definitely showed the power of the PS4 and Xbox One, and that was just with those dated pieces of hardware. Like, imagine what they could do with the PS5 and Series X, and I guess we're going to wait for GTA 6 on that, but no one else really seems to be doing that, and that's the issue here, to me. The PS4 and Xbox One did a good job on showing what those platforms could do for gaming. The PS5 and Series X? Fuck no. No. Those consoles are the ones that's failing miserably, even after 4 years of their launch and 4 years of them not dropping the fucking price of their hardware. You know? By the time they launched, I got my PS4 for $150 goddamn dollars on Black Friday. You know? With games. And a 1 terabyte model. And yes, that was actually enough at the time. Like, holy hell, dude. And then here we are, year 4 of the PS4 and Series X, and they're still fucking $500 or $550. In fact, they increased it over time and made cheaper parts in there. What the fuck? Seriously. So, yeah, no, the Series X and PS5 are the failures here. The PS4 and Xbox One are really the last pieces... excuse me. The last consoles that really took advantage of you know, the consoles, right? It had games that took advantage of those consoles. So, let's continue.
For the first few years of the Xbox One generation, I was still playing on my Xbox 360 and had really no desire to go to the Xbox One, despite it sitting right there next to my 360.
No, that makes sense.
And then, like, mid-2017, I got my first gaming PC, and I never looked back. The games are cheaper, the games run better, there's way more games to pick from, the peripherals are more accessible, just, like, everything.
Yep, he's right. The only reason why I myself did not switch to PC sooner is because it was expensive at the time that I wanted to. Trust me, back when the PS5 and Series X came out, I had no desire buying them. Like, I had no desire to have them whatsoever. Like, none. You know, and I wanted a PC instead. I wanted to switch to PC, but, you know, I was like, damn, COVID is really making PC expensive, you know, blah, blah, blah. And the PS5 and Series X look like they're actually very capable for the price that they're asking for. So, fuck it, you know, I'll try to get them as soon as I can. But, you know, as of now, I have really no desire to get them. And they're most likely going to stick around with the Xbox One PS4. And boy, was I right about that. So, but let's continue.
Million videos about why PC is better than console. Go watch this video if you want my extensive thoughts as to why PC is better than console.
That was a good video. You guys should watch it.
The point of this video is the fact that the things that made me switch from console to PC are seemingly just getting worse in this console generation. Yep. And it's to the point that I don't think we've ever had a worse console generation, at least certainly not in my lifetime.
Amen. Amen. No, in general. Look, people, why are you guys like comparing the first like 2 generations or whatever with Pong and Atari and all that shit? No, they actually did what they were able to do at the fucking time. Even Pong consoles, you know? So, yes, the 9th generation is the fucking worst. It's the least valuable. It's the least reason to buy a fucking console. In fact, the 9th generation still does not feel like the 9th generation. They just feel like, oh, this is the day and age where console gaming is dying. So here, let's try to take advantage of what we have in our shitty install base right now. You know, let's try to take advantage of our current Xbox users or our current PlayStation users instead of actually giving them a proper experience and giving them a reason to stick with consoles, like Nintendo did with the Switch. I mean, it's only selling almost 140. No, it's almost selling. No, it sold over 140 million, right? You shouldn't have listened to Nintendo. Nah. And even then, I think that the Switch is an underwhelming console as well. But you know what? Compared to the Series X and PS5, it shits all over them. Absolutely. At least there's a point to owning a goddamn Switch.
Understand that back in the 80s and the 90s, there was really shitty game of the HD era. Can we at least agree on that? Games are getting more expensive, they're getting more buggy, they're getting less stable.
Yup, and they're getting less optimized. You're getting more... Bro, I'm getting more fucking 60 frames per second games on my non-optimized, like, Steam Deck, bro. Like, do you know how the console fanboys say, but it's optimized around consoles? That doesn't mean it's better, motherfucker. Like, what? Just because it's optimized around something, that doesn't mean it's best suited for that thing. You do realize that, right? I mean, for God's sake. But yeah, no. I've been talking about this for years now. Consoles have not been optimized well for this past generation. For this fucking 9th generation. You have PS5 and Xbox Series X, like, exclusive games only happen because they're too lazy to optimize for the other consoles or to take advantage of the PS5 and Series X. It's fucking pathetic. And then you have shitty ass companies or developers themselves saying, we deserve more. You don't deserve shit. You're doing horrible at your job. And quite frankly, you should be fired. The hell? You developers suck ass nowadays. You don't deserve shit. And then saying that they deserve more and then they deserve a tip. Motherfucker, here's a tip. Optimize your games better. And stop fucking focusing on your dog shit agenda. There you go. There's my tip. Anyways, let's continue.
It takes forever. The hardware is more expensive than ever, and despite us being 4 years into the generation, there really doesn't seem to be a price drop in sight. And it's gotten to the point that now Xbox and PlayStation, the heads of these companies, are both just openly talking about the fact that there is no growth happening in the console sphere.
And I talked about that too. And I was like, yeah, there's a reason why. I think I already talked about this before, but there's a reason why your console fan base are dying and going elsewhere. First off, do we really need to understand why Microsoft, the Series X or the Series consoles in general, are not like gaining anybody and losing people? Do I really have to explain why? Let's see. Game Pass, you're a failure for Game Pass, I should say. The lack of third parties, like, being more evident over time on your shit console. Let's see. And the fact that you're making subpar shitty games just for the sake of blowing up or trying to make your shitty Game Pass look worth it. Or look like it's worth it. Meanwhile, you're not making meaningful experiences or even optimizing them for Xbox. And now Microsoft is putting games on PS5 and Switch, which they're running better, or not. They're not exactly running better on the Switch, but they're running on the Switch, and it's portable. You know what I mean? It's probably running the same as it is on the Series S, but at least the Switch is portable. Right? And then when we are talking about the PS5, you know, why are people losing interest in your shit console? Well, maybe because you're making everything more expensive, you're not giving any value, you're not giving any variety. Most of your fucking games, if not all of them, could be played on the PS4. Gee, I wonder why. Huh. This is the laziest generation for these consoles, and they wonder why people are going away. And then you're not even making them cheaper, like he said. We already talked about this earlier in this video. You're not making the hardware cheaper. You're not making it more convenient to get a console. Even though it's been 4 fucking years. You should be begging us to buy these consoles at this point. Which, that is your job, actually. You should show us the value and beg us to buy these consoles. They do realize that the reason why consoles exist is to sell their software, right? And to sell people into their ecosystem. You're not supposed to make a profit off these fucking consoles. Like, that's not how it works, dumbass. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Like, I guess Sony and Microsoft forgot how making money in the console space works. I don't know.
Phil Spencer said a while back that the console sphere is not growing, and just a few weeks ago, a
of
big
course he's
shot
saying
from
that.
PlayStation, whose name I forget off the top of my head, said the console sphere is facing an existential crisis because of the lack of growth. Never mind the fact that there's still a lot of people playing on the consoles, and if you weren't trying to manufacture infinite money and infinite user growth and instead was just focusing on satisfying your existing consumers, you'd be completely fine. I just hate this idea that tech isn't successful unless the user base is constantly forever going higher and
Yup.
higher and higher. Can you take me higher? I am so sorry I'm like this today. Why am I like this today? But like, the number of people buying consoles is not growing. You could still be making a whole buttload of money if you were just satisfying the people that are there, but it seems
Yup.
that's not.
And what does that mean? Optimizing your games for your platforms, making your fucking online free. You should not be charging people online. It's not your servers to be charging for. You know? You shouldn't be charging for online. You should not be making games more expensive like you are. You know? You shouldn't. And your hardware should be fucking cheaper by now. That's how you get people to come to your console. Jesus Christ. Like, there's just sometimes where I just want to sit back and play on my PS5 and Series X because I have the fucking consoles. I have them. So I want to use them, but then I'm like, wait, this game, I just might as well buy on PC. I might as well buy on PC. Why would I buy on those consoles when I have to pay for the online? And honestly, like, it'll be cheaper on PC and run better on the PC. That's the most important part. It will run better on the PC. With mod support, too. Why would I ever fucking get anything for the consoles when eventually I know they're going to come to PC with better frame rate, better gameplay, more options overall? Why would I do that?
Not enough for you anymore. Gee willikers. Could it be that the current consoles are just bad products? And like,
They
look,
are
this
bad
console
products.
generation started with
They're
really
horrible
rough
products.
timing. That's not their fault. I want to at least extend a little bit of an olive branch here. These
No, but this is
consoles
where I sort of disagree with him. Not much, but still disagree. This, he just said right now, if you didn't hear it because I was bitching, is that he said that the launch of the consoles, right? He just said this. The time that the PS5 and Series X launched wasn't their fault. Yes, it is. They could have waited. I mean, hell, you still have games now. You still have games now take advantage of the... not even take advantage of them. Still using the PS4 and Xbox fucking One. For some reason. So, yes, they could have. They could have held off another 2 years. Maybe even 1 year. Oh, I think 1 year would have been fine, really, if you ask me. I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying. So, yeah, if I'm being honest, we really did not need the Series X and PS5 coming out in fucking 2020. Especially because they should have seen the whole virus thing coming. Like, I know that it wasn't, you know, like, confirmed or anything, but it was hinted at. So maybe you should have waited off, especially because, like, they fucking knew that developers were not going to take advantage of the PS5 and Series X yet. Especially because they fucking didn't. So why would you release your brand new spanking consoles when you're not going to take advantage of it, and you know that developers weren't going to take advantage of it, or third parties weren't going to take advantage of it immediately? Hell, still now. So, no, I disagree. They could have waited and released the Series X and PS5 in a more refined way with more of a refined library of games. So, that's their fault. Do not get it twisted.
launched in late 2020. So not only was there a big
there's
tech
no
shortage,
reason.
which meant there was a big console supply problem, which meant there was a really big hoarding problem and a really big reseller problem, big scalping
that's also
problem.
my point there
but it
too,
also
is
meant
that
there
they
was
really
kind
did not like take into consideration of how many people would have wanted it. Like, did you really not think, like, they were not confident with their product, obviously, when they didn't make enough fucking PS5s or Series X's for fucking people to buy. That was a red flag number one that we all should have seen.
the cap on how many people were willing to pay for this thing at a time when a lot of people were out of work. A lot of people were kind of pinching pennies because we didn't know how long we'd be stuck at home. We didn't know when the world was going to pull a big old 180 and fart on our face again.
Ooh,
it's hard to
kinky.
justify dropping $500-$600 on a new game console when you don't know when you're going to need that money for something else. But also, the biggest problem with these consoles is the price to entry is just way too high. It is not justifiable to spend $500-$600 on these machines and then spend another $70 on new games.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think that the console prices were bad. I really don't think so. Like, when they launched, I don't think they were horrible. But I was under the assumption that it was going to get fucking cheaper over time, like every other console did in every generation. Nope. Nope. And then, not to mention that, I thought these consoles were definitely going to be 4K 60 capable with 1080p 120 as the alternative. That should be the real fucking performance mode, motherfuckers. You know? Oh, we're gonna put a performance mode in our games. Fuck right off, okay? Fuck off. Your games being in the performance mode should be 100 goddamn 20 frames per second. Okay? Especially with these brand new spanking consoles, bro. Oh my god, like, these consoles are so fucking worthless, really.
$70 a year or more for playing your own games online. I honestly forget how much it is for PS Plus or fucking Xbox Live. I guess they're not calling it Xbox Live anymore, but you get the point I'm saying. These are expensive pieces of hardware
but dude,
now.
With that 120 a year for Xbox, man, like, you get fucking I'm sorry, you get Xbox Live, or fuck, Xbox Game Pass, dude. Xbox Game Pass is such a good value. No, the fuck it ain't. Buying old games and like Microsoft's fucking leftover slop over the recent years, is not value. Dream the fuck on.
It's not like the old days, like the Xbox 360. You go down to the store, get one for $200, get a Wii for $200, go get a used PS4 for $150. It's not like that anymore. And I want to at least acknowledge the fact that that is not Microsoft and Sony's fault.
Yes, it
is. It
is.
is not their fault that they launched these consoles into the world conditions that
Yes,
they
it
did.
was.
However, their management
waited.
since
No
then
one was exactly
absolutely
asking for
is
the
their
PS5 and
fault.
Series
And I'm
X to
mainly
release, bro.
looking at Sony
No
right
one,
now
not even
because
developers.
Microsoft seems at least open to the idea of making their game consoles more affordable, while Sony doesn't really seem to have much interest in such things. But the point that I make pretty frequently to people is the fact that these consoles are no longer cheap. It is no longer a just easy go down to the store, drop a couple $100 on a game machine, and you're off to the races. These are $400-$500 machines with games that are costing you $70 a pop. And if you want to play those games
Yup,
online,
and let's talk about the value of games real quick. I know, I'm sorry for pausing over and over, but let me just make this very fucking clear. If a game is worth $70, I'll be happy to spend that $70. If a game is worth $100, you're gonna have to do a lot, but if a game is worth $100, you're gonna have to show me that it's worth that $100, and I'll be happy to pay for it. However, none of these games that released recently, within the past 5 years especially, are worth that $70 or more dollars. None of them. Almost none of them. I don't give a shit how much content they have or whatever. That's not how you do value. Like, that's not a factor for value in a video game. A factor for value in video games is whether they're fun, they're, not really simple to get into, but like, just they're fun. That's it. They're fun and they're value. So, Fortnite obviously has a good value because, one, it's free, but two, they constantly update the game, to have these licensed characters in them, which you could buy for like 15 to 20 bucks, 12 to 20 bucks. That's amazing. That's way better than most games now. And, you also get a bunch of games as a service slop now, which, do you think that with their incomplete status, they're worth $70? Get the fuck out of here. There were PS2 games that had more content than games that are releasing now, under this whole stupid thing of, oh, we'll release it and then we'll finish it later. Motherfucker, that's not working anymore. It's not working anymore. We don't trust you to finish your game. Hell, you don't even optimize your games. And you expect us to fucking trust you?
Damn. So the value of games to me determine their price. So what I'm trying to say is, did any of you think that the Saints Row 2023 or 2 reboot, whatever the fuck it was, did you think that was worth $70? Fuck no. It's not even worth playing that shit for free, which it should have been a free-to-play game with the status that it released in. You should have been a fucking free-to-play game. If I'm being honest, there was a fucking mobile game back in 2017 that released from Gameloft that had the exact same shallow and empty gameplay as that fucking like Saints Row 2022 reboot. So fuck off. Trying to sell that shit for $70. Gee, I wonder why it failed. You have all these disconnected motherfuckers who really think that they're entitled to your money without even finishing their fucking product or optimizing their product or even just straight up making it good. It's hilarious to me. Anyways, let's continue.
And you're talking even more money a pop. And as the PC guy, I don't want to say that it's wrong to spend a lot of money on your hobby if you're a gamer. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with spending a lot of money on your hobby as a gamer.
Value.
You have every right to spend your money any way that you want. But if you have already accepted the fact that you're going to spend a lot of money on your hobby as a gamer, why would you spend this much money on a console instead of just getting the PC, which has cheaper games?
Amen, bro. On.
More games, it's more backwards compatible, it has better performance, it has better future proofing, it has no paid online.
Amen.
Sony and Microsoft have both tried to push their consoles into this realm of being luxury gaming machines and
yeah, luxury gaming machines, even though you fucking losers can't play PS3, PS2 or PS1 fucking video games when it comes to PS5. Oh wait, I'm sorry. You could rebuy them. you could rebuy them. Don't worry, guys. You could rebuy them, right? And then when it comes to Xbox, you know, to be fair, they are trying a little bit more with the backwards compatibility with Sony compared to Sony, but they're still not doing a good job. There's a lot of my Xbox 360 games that I have that I still cannot fucking play on my Xbox One or Series X, which is stupid. How the hell are you going to call your shitty consoles luxury, quote unquote, when you can't... The PS3 was a luxury console when it first launched. You were able to play all the PlayStation games at the time. PS1, 2, 3. You were able to play Blu-ray and DVD. You know, it had music. Whatever you could download. Music, videos, whatever. Whatever you wanted to download. And you can install Linux on that bastard. So the PS3, when that launched, that's a luxury gaming console. Yes, it was $600, but goddamn was it worth that $600. Holy shit. The only problem is I didn't have games. That's why people were like, fuck no. So Sony launched it with games. I don't think people would have minded that $600 price tag, if I'm being honest. You know? Because that motherfucker had value. That was a luxury gaming console. Or, like, a luxury device in general. You know? But motherfucker, we're talking about like the PS5 and Series X having half, if not less, features than the fucking PS3. And it launched almost at the same price? I know that for inflation, blah blah blah. I don't care. The fact of the matter is that we're seeing these shitty consoles launch at $500 and they're not showing the value for it. Yes, you could play Blu-ray and DVD on them. That's nice. No, I mean that. That's legitimately nice, but what else can you do? You know? You can't install Linux on them. You can't put Steam on them. You can't do shit. Like, you really can't. So, it sucks. But yeah. And and they don't have backwards compatibility like the PS3 did. And hell, even the Wii U did. Like, luxury my ass.
Pricing them as luxury gaming machines, all the while they're not living up to what an actual luxury gaming machine can provide. which is why the console industry is not growing while the PC industry
Yup.
is. Because if you
The
are
PC has
going
been
to
getting
buy
cheaper
a
too,
luxury
so.
gaming machine, you've already crossed the threshold of like spending $500-$600 on a gaming machine. Why would you go with the console instead of a PC at that point? Like at this rate, no one's gonna buy the Pro version. Like no one's gonna buy a PS5
Oh my
Pro
god,
because you
with
still
stupid PlayStation fanboys saying like, "Oh my god, dude, the PlayStation 5 Pro is gonna be amazing." Fuck right off. The PS5 Pro is gonna be a joke. It's gonna be an underwhelming mess. And motherfucker, if they're not utilizing the original PS5, what the hell makes you think they're gonna utilize the Pro when less people are gonna get it? Are you stupid? And then we're also talking about Sony here, which I know that the PS5 Pro is gonna fail. I know it is. So let's look at Sony's track record with their hardware that failed. Did they support it after that? Not really, right? More recently, look at the PSVR 2. They just dropped that motherfucker, even though it hasn't even been a year. They dropped all support for that motherfucker. They're no longer making games for it because it was such a failure. Look at the PS Vita. 1 or 2 years, maybe 1.5 years of Sony support, and they dropped it like it was a brick. Dropped it. Because the Vita didn't do too well, which is because of their incompetence. The Vita was an awesome console, but, you know, an awesome console could get you only so far with you making shitty proprietary expensive memory cards, you know, a proprietary thing, right? And it having not really enough games, too, to solidify the price as well. But whatever. What I'm trying to say is that that's the fucking problem here, right? Is that the PS5 Pro will fail. And even if it doesn't fail, look at what happened with the PS5. So it will not do as well as the PS5. And you see the support, quote unquote, that Sony has for the PS5. They're not even releasing games for the fucker. I'm just not imagining good things happening from the PS5 Pro, and I will not get one. They're not even utilizing the original PS5 like I just said. Why would I fucking trust a Pro? Why do I trust a PS5 Pro? She's fucking delusional.
haven't even dropped the base PS5's
fanboys are
price.
stupid.
PS5 Pro is going to be the cost of like a mid-tier PC. Like it's
It's
no
just-
one's going to do that. No one's going to drop $600-$700 on a Pro
Yup.
console when they could just drop $800 on a
Yup.
PC.
Exactly.
No, like you can't expect
No,
people to
seriously, you
spend.
can get yourself a bomb-ass PC for $800. There has been deals out the ass, like for you to get a 4060 PC, a 4060. Excuse me, for $1,000 or less. With all the necessities of gaming and then some that you need. Oh.
And super like luxury electronics prices on a console when they would just spend a luxury electronic price on a PC and get a better product. Everyone knows that. The console's whole appeal is having that corner of the market for someone who doesn't want to spend a lot of money on a gaming machine.
Yup.
They're willing to compromise performance. But now your budget gaming machines, those consoles, you're selling them as if they're PCs when they're not. Like in terms of performance, they're not capable of that, but you're still selling them on that and trying to price them higher because of that, with that as the
Yup.
justification, and no one's buying that anymore. So you either have to drop the price of the base consoles, which you still haven't done, or you have to release the Pro versions for a lot of money, and at that point you're marketing to people who are willing to spend a lot of money on gaming tech, at which point those people are just going to buy a PC. Again,
Could
it
have
is
not
not
said it better myself. Could have not said it better myself.
the console's fault that they launched into the world
Yes, it
conditions
is.
that they did, but it is their fault that they refused to adapt in the years
that's also
afterwards.
true.
And this isn't even getting into the other things like the hyper focus on realistic graphics, which means every game looks the same, which means you're playing a lot of these games. If you want the good, awesome graphics that they sold you on, you got to play it at 30 FPS, and if you want to play at 60 FPS, that means you're often playing at sub 10.
I'm just confused. Can someone please fucking help me out? Because I'm so confused. I don't give a shit if the game has realistic graphics or whatever. Because you're still making PS4 games available on the PS5. How fucking weak are these consoles that they hyped up, by the way, for goddamn years? How weak are these fucking consoles when you can't even get PS4 and Xbox One games consistently at 60 and then some? What the fuck is going on with gaming? At least consoles. What the fuck is going on?
1080p to maintain that frame rate. You bought a luxury gaming machine for sub 1080p?
Yup.
Wasn't it Xbox that said this console gen was going to give us frame rates like we've never seen before? Weren't
I mean,
Sony
yeah, dude, we're gonna get 4K 120, dude. Hell yeah. We're gonna get 120 4K. Right? Fucking
Microsoft
scumbags.
both boasting about 100 plus FPS this gen in
So
the
did
lead up to
Sony,
the
too.
release, and now here we are back at 30.
But the fun thing is that Sony took that off their fucking box. By the way, recently Sony took off that 120 frames option or the 4K option off their fucking box. Or no, I'm sorry, it was the 4K 120. Both of them. They took that shit off of their fucking PS5 recently. That is hilarious.
Everyone insists on having hyper-realistic graphics all the time. Hyper-realistic graphics means lower frame rates. It means longer
But it
dev
should not. We're in the PS5 and Series X generation here. These consoles came out in 20 for $500. They should be more than capable of running any of these fucking games at 120 4K. Even with realistic graphics. And how... And I dare a motherfucker tell me that's unrealistic. How's that unrealistic? How's that unrealistic? We have achieved... For, like... What? 1080p 60 on the PS4 and Xbox One. Now, it wasn't consistent, but we achieved it. Why the fuck these consoles... almost 10 years later after the Xbox One and PS4 with much more capable hardware, why the fuck should we not get 4K 120? Why not? I mean, I don't give a shit about the 4K part, but I just want to say that's what we should be fucking getting. At least 4K 60 and then 1080p 120. That's what we should be fucking getting. Jesus, man.
cycles. It means less detailed gameplay because all that dev time going into the graphics is taken away from game design, which is why we have so many games nowadays with these long-ass walk and talk sequences. It means we have games with the yellow paint epidemic, you know, very obviously pointing gamers in the right direction, because if you have to make everything hyper-realistic...
No wonder why Resident Evil 4 Remake sucked. Yeah, eat my shit. The original one was better.
How are you supposed to distinguish what is and is not interactable if not by making it painfully obvious to people? And I know there are more reasons for the yellow paint epidemic than just that. I did a whole video about the yellow paint epidemic. Pluggo. Go watch that one if you want my extended thoughts on yellow.
Like, I know I'm gonna get a bunch of like Resident Evil 4 Remake fanboys be like, no dude, Resident Evil 4 is so cool. No, the fuck it ain't. It's a shitty, generic third-person shooter that's all serious now, dude. Look how cool we are, man. We made Resident Evil 4 more serious. Not fucking mentioning the fact that part of Resident Evil 4's charm is that it was such a good, it was such a nice, suspenseful, like, action, you know, a good action fucking... It was a good action tone. There you go. It had a good action tone to it. You know? And it still had some horror elements in there. So, why did you completely rob it of its fucking personality? Now Leon is messed up after the events of Resident Evil 1 and 2, and he has so many regrets. Shut the fuck up. So gay.
Paint But the point I'm making is that this console gen's insistence on
So
hyper-realistic
fucking gay.
graphics means the gameplay has to be simpler because more dev time is going into the existence of the game itself. This is not a problem that was ever really a thing in previous console gens. You go back to the Xbox 360 generation, everyone was trying to push the limit on graphics with what was possible with
Yeah.
graphics, but there was still wiggle room for art style. You look at a game like
Yup,
the original Gears of
exactly. The 360 and PS3 generation experimented so fucking many times, like with so many games. That's why you had the variety that you fucking did. God, I miss when gaming wasn't mainstream. I really do miss it. Seriously. Fuck the mainstream, fuck Hollywood, screw all these people, essentially. They have ruined my favorite hobby.
4 versus Halo 3. These games came out, what, a year apart from each other? And they were both considered like the cutting edge of HD graphics on the 360. They still look very distinct from each other, and both have much more complex gameplay than basically any
Yeah.
AAA shooter coming
That's
out
true,
these
too.
days. Because it is possible to look pretty and look cutting edge while still having art style, while still having a personality, and while still putting gameplay first. But the priorities have changed, and that's largely because Microsoft and Sony, and I blame Sony much more for this one than Microsoft, are insisting that their machines be used for these
I mean,
things.
to be fair, Microsoft didn't do anything good. Like, they didn't make gameplay good, and they didn't make graphics good. So, yeah, of course Sony's more guilty of having better graphics because Microsoft doesn't have anything with their shitty first-party slop.
They insist that the hardware be put on screen in the most non-gamer way possible. They have this hardware and they want to use it to make really realistic particle effects and skin textures. And you want to see all the pores on your character's face as you slowly walk
Oh yeah, or the ugly ass peach fuzz on the ugly ass alloy, the fat alloy face. Yeah.
forward and listen to someone blab onto you for
Pathetic.
5 to 10 minutes at a time. And
Most
those longer
disgusting
dev
thing I ever
cycles
saw,
and more
by the way.
detailed graphics
With,
and whatnot.
which, by the way, I side rant real quick. She looked fine in the first game, much like everybody else in the first game. Like in the Spider-Man 2018 game, everyone looked way fucking better there, and then in Spider-Man 2, you had ugly ass square-jawed bitches in there. Same thing goes with Alloy with their fat, ugly, I need to see your manager face. And the
Are also
fucking
being-
forbidden sales.
used as justification to drive up the price of games. Despite physical media being basically dead, that's probably the most insulting thing about this console generation. The price of games keeps going up, but physical media, which is the thing that actually costs money to produce and manufacture, is basically gone. So what are you paying for? A digital
Yep,
copy
that's
of
another fucking thing. It's like it's like they just push digital bullshit just to have more control over what you buy. That is exactly what they're fucking doing. So they want you paying more, even though that they're literally just putting out a code, essentially. So they should not be fucking charging you $70 for a video game. It should be 40 or 30. Video games are too expensive, especially when you have a goddamn thing of making it digital. What the fuck is going on? What is going on?
game can be produced infinitely at no additional
Yup.
cost to the publisher, and yet they're charging you more than ever for them. Why? This console gen is complete nonsense. It is absolute trash. And here's my hot take of the week. I think this gen needs to end.
This is where I actually disagree with him a little bit, just a little bit. I understand where he's coming from, but you'll just see.
I don't think we need a mid-gen refresh. I don't think there needs to be an enhanced
No, hold on.
PS5
That
or
I agree with. Fuck the stupid PS5 Pro and forget about the Series X, XX. I don't fucking know. The Series X squared. How about that? We don't need that dog shit. I agree.
an enhanced Series X. No, I think we need to scrap the 9th gen altogether, move on to the 10th, full reset, and do it fucking right this time.
Here's the thing that I disagree with, though. You do not need to say, oh, forget the PS5 and Series X. No. Actually, I think that quite the opposite. They should fix the bullshit that's happening with the Series X and PS5 just for 2 more years. You know, and this is the best case scenario. But what I want is for them to scrap the 10th generation of consoles. They don't fucking need it. They don't need it. And they also don't need fucking mid-refresh consoles as well. They don't need these fucking things. There still have not been enough games to take advantage of the Series X or PS5, or any, for that matter. None of them did. So, I mean, honest to God, we don't even need a PS6 or Series X squared, like I said. I don't fucking know what the hell they're gonna call it. I agree. Or, no, I disagree with that. We don't need them. The PS5 and Series X, if these dumb fucks learn how to optimize again, don't need it. We don't need the PS6. We plateaued. We don't need them. Fix the PS5 and Series X and continue to support them. That's it. And take full advantage of them. And then you can make your PS6 or whatever the hell. I don't care. But no, I felt like this generation was robbed of any actual potential happening with the consoles. So, no, I don't think they should. In fact, scrap the 10th generation of consoles, tell those to fuck off, and continue to focus on the 9th generation of consoles. And fix the bullshit that they done here, like make online free, do all that bullshit, like do all that, and cut the cost of the consoles, you know, make games cheaper, all that shit. That's what they need to do if they want to survive. If they want their console fucking fan base to not dwindle even more, that's what they need to fucking do. And it would be even cheaper, bro. It'd be even cheaper for them to continue doing this with the Series X and PS5 than it would be just starting completely over. Or not completely over, but you know what I mean. Just doing this shit again with the PS6 and Series X squared. You know? They're just gonna repeat the same shit. Especially at a time where we don't need them, like I said. We don't need them. And that's what happened with the PS5 and Series X. We didn't need them in 2020, and yet they released them anyways. At the most horrible times in the world. Wow.
More AAA games that come out and insist on being built for both the 9th and 8th gen hardware, because apparently we're still doing cross-generational games, as if that's not going to hold back the performance, as if
dude, but some stupid Xbox fanboys that I used to watch, by the way, to get my Xbox news at the time, when around the Series X, like, launch, or not launch, but before its launch, I was like watching Zocker and all these other fucking dumb Xbox fanboys because they were talking about Xbox news, right? And, you know, one of the things that pissed me off is that they were still making Halo Infinite for the Xbox One, and they took features out for there. And then those idiot fanboys were like, well, obviously they're gonna make a version for the Series X and then a version for the One. For the Xbox One. I'm like, no, they're not, you fucking idiots. What are you talking about? You really think that they're going to make a separate version for the fucking Series X, take advantage of it, and then make a separate version for the One? Are you stupid? This isn't a Titanfall 1 scenario, motherfucker. The hell? What a bunch of morons.
Years into this console generation, we don't think devs should be given more time to properly optimize for the new hardware. That certainly won't incentivize just standing in quicksand forever. But can you blame these devs for trying to build games on the 8th generation consoles when the 9th generation consoles are still going for $400-500?
Right, and that is the Sony Microsoft problem. That's true. I didn't really think about that, but that's very, very true. Why would developers, third parties, right? Why would third parties make games around these shitty consoles, right? These shitty, underwhelming consoles, the PS5 and Series X, when Sony and Microsoft still have not made them readily available? They're not making it easier to access these consoles, which is fucking dumb. God damn, that's true. God, I hate gaming.
again, at a time when PC tech is just getting more and more affordable and leaving them behind in terms of game performance.
Yup.
And that sentence may even be a little too generous. That may make it sound like I think that the consoles were even comparable to gaming PC tech at the time they came out, which is the ultimate irony. They were not. The PS5 is roughly equivalent to what? An RTX 2070 is the general consensus?
Yeah, I thought that the 2070 was actually pretty decent for the time, but I guess it wasn't. I don't know, actually. But what I will say is that they still could have taken better advantage, really, if you ask me, taken better advantage over that power than they could have with the PS4 and Xbox One. Like, the Series X and PS5 were still more than capable even at their launch.
Do you know when that card
PS4 and
came
Xbox One
out? Do you know how cheap that card is now? And yet you still insist on saying this is the cutting edge of hardware. This is the cutting edge of gaming
Yup.
consoles.
4K 120, dude.
You price them as such, and then you scratch your heads why no more people are coming to the console and why more and more people are going to the PC. Maybe console gaming is at its peak when AAA developers, who are supposed to be the trendsetters, they're supposed to be the ones that establish what the tech is going to be used for and why people go out and buy the tech. Maybe consoles were at their best when developers were given freedom to basically do whatever they wanted with them, to make whatever kind of games they wanted with them, to use whatever art style they wanted, because different art styles put a different amount of strain on the hardware. Meaning, sure, the consoles may have relatively underpowered hardware, but if your art style doesn't demand super powerful hardware, that's not a problem now, is it? I can't think of a single reason why a game like Ratchet and Clank was being used as some kind of tech benchmark on the PS5.
Yeah, do you guys remember when Mario 64 launched? And that fucking game was like touted for its gameplay, and yeah, like of course it was like, oh, this is a 3D Mario, blah blah. So it was like also talking about like cutting edge tech, true, but it was mostly touted for its amazing control, amazing gameplay, and like doing Mario in 3D right, amazingly right the first time around. Hell, I still argue that Mario 64 gives you the best control out of all the 3D Marios. If I'm being honest. You know? So, yeah. Yeah.
How far fucking backwards have we gone when the cartoon animal action platformer is being used as a bragging point for tech? Your priorities are wrong. I'm surprised we didn't talk more about that when it was happening. I think that's just like the most blatant example I can think of AAA development priorities being completely fucking backwards. It was reassuring to see the reports that the Sly Cooper re-releases on the PS5 were doing really well, and that a lot of people are going and playing those old Sly Cooper games, those old PS2 era cartoony platformers. I loved seeing that. These reports were awesome to read, but I can't wait for Sony to take the absolute wrong message from that and then do a Sly Cooper reboot where they brag about the fucking fur physics.
Oh no, but they're probably gonna remake it, man. They're probably gonna remake it into like Foxzilla or whatever the hell her name is, the person, or Carmela. There you go, or I think, I don't know. The like cop or detective who is the foil to Sly Cooper, right? They're gonna make her an absolute fucking girl boss. They're gonna make her ugly, and they're gonna make her fucking look like Abby, essentially. Don't worry, watch out for that.
The game struggles to run at 60 FPS because they shove ray tracing into it for no fucking reason. You know what I think the best looking Spider-Man game of all time is? Like, not the best Spider-Man game, that's a different question. The best looking Spider-Man game, the most appealing Spider-Man game to look at. Is it Spider-Man 2? The one with forced ray tracing and all these fucking particle effects and wacky woodoodle physics engines? No, it's Ultimate Spider-Man, this one. This is the most visually appealing Spider-Man game
this
ever.
looks awesome. What the hell? I never played this. Dude, this looks badass.
Made. It is almost 20 years old. You could never make this game today with Sony as the publisher.
Yeah, and that's a fucking problem right here too. I hate Sony. Sony is the worst out of everybody when it comes to direction for fucking video games. Now, I know that Microsoft, you know, like they kind of contradict that, but hear me out for a little bit. Look what happened when Sony took over Spider-Man. It was only on their platform, has these bland, ugly fucking graphics, have these bland, overly simplistic gameplay. For what? For what? You know? Usually when something is on your console only, you're supposed to improve on it. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, what a fucking joke. When anything is with Sony, prepare for less variety. And shitty performance.
Because it looks like a comic book, and that is a fucking travesty.
Did you sign up for Pandora? You may be entitled to thousands of...
And the worst part is that none of this is necessary. This tweet from Oh No, It's Alex, love you dad, sums it up really well. Elden Ring
I think
is...
Oh No is Alex or whatever the hell his name is actually fucking boring.
not what you think of when you think of like the visual pinnacle of video games.
But I agree with that.
And yet, it is
I
still
completely agree.
absolutely striking to look at. Because character models and particle effects, that is not what's most important. That stuff just isn't impressive anymore. I've been playing God of War, the original God of War, recently, and there's still sequences of that where I'm like, wow, that aged excellently. And it's not because of the actual quality of the textures, it's because of the size, it's the scale, it's the spectacle, it's the art style.
God, especially, I don't know if I wasn't listening for a second, but especially if he's talking about God of War 3. Oh my God, bro. How did that fucking game become graphically amazing? And gameplay-wise, it was way fucking better. How? How did you do that? And they released that in 2009, 2010? Are you fucking kidding me? How beautiful. Yeah, God of War 3 was fucking peak God of War. Absolutely.
Personality and character within the art style itself. It's the creature designs, it's the environments, it's the atmosphere. You want another great example of what I'm talking about? Compare the original Silent Hill 2 to the Silent Hill 2 remake. The original Silent Hill 2...
Oh my God, dude. The Silent Hill 2 remake could kiss my ass. That game looks like complete garbage. Oh my God, with fat-faced McUgly bitch? No, thank you. But it's not only that, too. It's also the god-awful fucking gameplay. How can you look like more of a downgrade compared to Resident Evil 4 Remake? Yeah, I went there. How the fuck can you look like more of a downgrade to that? It looks like a PS2 game and not in the way that it should be. Like... The gameplay looked like fucking ass, and it looked like the most generic piece of shit I ever saw in my life, dude. Like I said, it looked like a worse Resident Evil 4 remake. And yeah, that game sucks. Deal with it, fanboys. It sucks. It's just generic slop. That's what Resident Evil 4 remake is. Generic third-person shooter slop. I'm surprised that piece of shit sold well. I really am. Wow.
just oozes atmosphere. It is so immersive. The original Silent Hill 2, not even modded, not even the fan projects. I'm talking the original Silent Hill 2. Put the PS2 disc in your PS2 and you will be treated to the most immersive game you have ever played. And then you look at the remake and it just looks like every other fucking AAA horror game. The
Except worse. Ugly fucking graphics. Ugly characters. Disgustingly stupid gameplay. It looks worse than most AAA garbage now.
Is gone because no one is using the hardware to fit their vision anymore. Nobody is shaping their vision around a unique art style or a unique kind of presentation. Everyone is constantly chasing each other's new, most realistic presentation, and it all looks the same. It all sacrifices gameplay in order to look the same.
Hit it on the fucking nail right there. Like, hit the nail on the head right there, bro.
And it makes it all the more obvious when something is wrong with it. Because the more realistic you get, the harder it is to hide things like physics fuck-ups or texture fuck-ups. So what do I think needs to happen? What needs to come next? What needs to come next is a full reset. Scrap the 9th gen. I don't give a shit that it's only 4 years old. I don't care.
I disagree. They should just go with the fucking 9th gen. But to be safe, here's what I would do. Rewind all the dumb shit that they did within the first 2 years, and then release the two, I mean within the last 2 years, yeah, and then release the fucking 10th generation consoles. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. Like, at that point. But what I want them to do, this is not going to be realistic, but what I want them to do is backtrack all the dumb shit that they did, make online free again. Yeah, make America great again. We'll make online free again. That's what I want for consoles. Right? And then utilize the fucking Series X and PS5. Let that happen for the next 4 or 5 years. And then, yeah, even from now, 4 or 5 years. And then you could release a PS6 or whatever the hell you want. That's what I want. Because they owe it to the motherfuckers who bought that. Because I'm not interested in a PS5 after fucking seeing the PS5 and Series X. Are you kidding me? Fuck no. I'm not getting a PS6, I mean, is what I meant. I'm not getting a PS6 or another Xbox. Are you kidding me? No, thank you. I'll just upgrade my PC. That's what I'd rather do. No fucking thank you, bro.
Truly do not care. Get the PS6 out here, get the Xbox 720 out here. I still think you should call it the Xbox 720. If you really want to win some people back and get people more like engaged with Xbox, then fucking go piggyback off the last console that really blew
Yeah, that
people
would be awesome. That would be fucking awesome.
of the water in terms of Xbox. Make the Xbox 720. Who gives a fuck? And when you're making these systems, don't concern yourself with touting the most realistic graphics imaginable and, oh, look at these amazing technological specs of ours, because if people actually cared about those things, they would be on the PC.
Yup.
And they
Exactly. And that's what fucking Nintendo realized when they made the Switch. Now, that doesn't mean that, you know, they shouldn't make the Switch 2 capable, because they should. I mean, they lost so many games because of the Switch's shitty hardware. Like, if they just made the Switch as powerful as the PS4 when it came out, the Switch would have still gotten support today, and they wouldn't even need a Switch 2. You know? So you have to find that right balance. But Nintendo still did a better job making a real console than Sony and Microsoft did. That's for sure, bro.
are on the PC, they will continue to be on the PC. You will never catch up with the PC. Stop trying to. Just make a machine that runs well. Make a machine that is consistent, that is reliable, and is most importantly affordable. And then you make the transition as easy as possible. Have a buyback system. Have a system where people can send in their PS5 or their Xbox Series and get a voucher for a fat discount on the new system.
I miss those.
And then
I
make the new
miss
systems
those.
completely backwards compatible with the old ones.
When there was like a whole buyback system, I forgot exactly what system, but I did it with one system. I remember that. But yeah, pretty much, I did it with one of the systems. And I saved a pretty fucking penny on it. And that was such a good way to get me to buy their next console, bro. I forgot what console it was, and I forgot what console I did it with. But I remember doing it, and it put so much value onto the fucking table. I think it was either the Game Boy Advance to the DS. I think that's what it was. Or the DS to the 3DS. But no. I do remember getting my 3DS from Craigslist, actually, and I got 2 3DSs for fucking $200, believe it or not. Hell yeah. That's what I call value, motherfucker. And I got a red one and a blue one, if you could believe it. That was fucking awesome. So yeah, I think it was the Game Boy Advance to the DS. And that was one of the best values they ever had in their life, bro. In their life. Yeah. Yeah.
They need to have the same buyback system they had when the 360 dropped. The reason the 360 and the PS3 did so fucking good.
I never had a
was because
360,
I remember
so
to this
yeah.
day.
I guess they
going
did it
to
with
get
that
a
too.
A 360 with my grandpa, and he's like, "I want to get that new thing." And I'm like, "You don't even play games?" He goes, "Yeah, but I want to see it." So he's like, "I'm gonna go and sell that Xbox because they have a sellback, and I'm gonna get like a third of the price axed, and I'll buy a 360." And then we got that.
Yeah, you need to
It's
make
like-
the consoles more accessible, like
Yeah,
financially.
and having that
That's
buyback
the
program.
fucking point of consoles. Since when was it like, oh, we're gonna make this priority, bro? We're gonna make these like fucking like amazing consoles that you need to pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars for, man. What the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you do that? Since when the fuck are consoles the luxury things? They're not supposed to be.
Honestly helps boost your sales, and on top of that, you as a dev company could even be like, send it into us, we'll give you
I mean,
a
hell, like I
credit.
said before, the PS3 was actually a real luxury console and with real value, and look how that turned out. They needed to cut back on a lot of the things that the PS3 launched with, and cut back on the price. Is this like the same Sony, bro? You literally just realized this, you fucking morons. Like, you turned the PS3 around so fucking quickly compared to, like, normally what could have happened, right? Like, the PS3 could have been a complete fucking failure, bro. But it wasn't. They turned it around in its first 2-3 years because they got a strategy and it fucking worked. Holy hell, bro.
Yeah.
Be it to wherever, and then from there, it's a credit
I think
deliberately
Jack
given
Tretton is the one that made up that whole strategy, and he did a good fucking job.
to you to get a
Here is how to be a video gamer forever in less than 60 seconds.
Now hear me out. If you're anything like me, then you
new system, and then them as a company, they can then recycle it and use all of those parts.
Dude, the push for cross-gen is strange right now.
It's like, just kill it. And it's like, and if you think it's not, then again, just bring back the fucking buyback system. You want people to upgrade? Make it easier for them to upgrade. It's not fucking rocket science. It's just the fact that you're trying to fucking penny and dime everybody.
I love that, like, oh,
But dude, they have to keep their PS4s and then sell it for a low amount of fucking prices though, right? Because that's what people want to do. You know? No, we're not going to make a fucking buyback system because we're cheap assholes who just want to take advantage of as many people as we can. And then wonder why, turn back and fucking wonder why those same people are leaving. Dumbasses.
they can't do a buyback system because they have no use for the hardware. It's like, neither do we!
Make it be on them though, because they're the ones that manufactured it.
Yeah.
Guarantee if they were to actually put their fucking like nose to the grindstone, they could figure out a way to fucking properly like recycle those into stuff.
Yeah. Use them to make handhelds of the new console. Use the old console's hardware to make a handheld
Right,
variant.
like how many fucking people made portable PS2s, portable Wiis, even at the time where they fucking released, actually. People legit made portable versions of the Wii and PS2 from recycled hardware, bro. And you're fucking telling me, these are random people too. So you're saying that Sony with their millions of dollars of R&D can't fucking make a proper portable PS5 when the PS6 comes out, you know what I mean? Bullshit. Bullshit. That makes no sense. My god. And then, like, the same goes with Microsoft. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, do you... Man, this is common sense.
of the new consoles, or to make a PSP 2, but built off of PS5 tech. So like you have a handheld system with the power of the PS5. That's a good product. That's a product people would buy.
That'd be a solid cycle. You get a quote unquote
No,
next
seriously,
gen.
like, if Sony was fucking smart, they would have released a Switch-like device 1 or 2 years after the Switch released. With the same power as a PS4. If Sony was fucking smart, they would have done that. I definitely would have got a lot more digital games. I would have invested a lot more into their ecosystem than Nintendo's or PCs. And you would have gotten a customer right there. You would have gotten someone who was a lot more into the PlayStation ecosystem than any other ecosystem had you have done that. But no.
System is fully next gen because you can axe that old console, but then from there too, when you do a buyback system, you just go and say, hey, you know that entire library of games that you have? Great, they're all played out on this handheld that we're dropping in 3 months because we're using
Yeah,
all
that
of
would have
that
got
tech.
me to invest into their digital, their digital library. If I'm being honest, that really would have. I would have been happy to buy their portables, their like a portable PS4. I would have been happy to buy digital games on the PS4 if that meant I could fucking play them anywhere, or like a Steam Deck. Absolutely.
To now put into a handheld because the Steam Deck already proves that you can make dope games look dope on a handheld.
Yup.
Like, this
for
used to be
cheap.
common.
I got my fucking Steam Deck, my 512 gigabyte Steam Deck, for just fucking $300, bro. Like, damn.
Practice. I don't understand why this is difficult. If you are so concerned with getting more people on the consoles, oh, there's not enough users on the consoles. Okay, fine. Lean into that. Make it as easy as possible for the existing users to give you money. Because if you keep treating the existing users like shit while openly acknowledging the fact that you're not getting any new users, those users are going to go somewhere else that won't treat them like shit. And that's what we're watching in this console generation. I've never seen a generation of gaming hardware be so bad at appealing to its core audience, to the point that people are just walking away. People who were like die-hard PlayStation guys, die-hard Xbox guys, are just going over to the PC because if the Xbox and the PlayStation are going to be bleeding them dry for their hobby, like if they demand that you spend lots and lots of money on your hobby, why not just go spend lots and lots of money on the PC, which gives you your hobby, but better? Why do you think both Sony and Microsoft are now basically relying on the PC to make up for their poor numbers? Those numbers
Yup.
didn't
That's exactly fucking true. Oh, we're gonna fuck over our console fan base. Wait, why is everybody leaving? Oh, okay, fine. I guess we'll just put our games on PC. Why do we have to put our games on PC? Why are consoles stagnating in sales? You are fucking retarded, Sony and Microsoft. You really are. You are.
have to be poor, you know? They didn't have to be this way. You made it this
Yup.
way. This console generation is a fucking joke. And for the sake of gaming, for the sake of the future of gaming, for the future of game creativity, of gameplay creativity, of, you know, conceptual creativity in games, I love this medium. I love video games.
I do
But
too. Stop fucking them up.
literally everything is wrong with the current generation of consoles.
Yeah,
And if Sony
really
and
though.
Microsoft want to run the console industry into the ground, then fucking fine. I'm a PC gamer. I'm not affected by this nonsense.
Neither am I, but I still have the PS5 and Series X, and I want the fucking maximum usage out of my devices. Regardless. I play games fucking everywhere, bro. I play games on mobile. I play games on PC. I play games on fucking Xbox, PlayStation, or I would, if they actually play the games well. I play games on Switch. I play games on PC. I think I already said that. I don't know. I like playing games on other devices that I see fit. Because I love having the option to play those games how I see fit. That's just how I am. There's some times where I play certain mobile games on my iPhone. Or I want to play on my Android. Just because I'm doing something else on my phone, whether I'm texting someone, calling someone, you know, like applying for a job, whatever, on my phone, right? Watching videos on my PC or whatever, or on my laptop, sorry. And then playing games on my Android while doing all that shit. I love doing stuff like that. So, motherfucker. I don't know, man.
But I love this industry, I love this art form. And to see the biggest funders of this art form, the people putting the most money into it, to see them so grossly missing the point It's just disheartening. I want the consoles to do well, even though I'm a PC player, because if the consoles do well and encourage creativity and encourage great games and encourage great gameplay, then everyone benefits. But that's
Yup.
just not what's happening this console generation.
No, it is
so
not.
fuck it. Burn it down. Bring out the 10th console gen. Do it right this time. And if you're not going to do it right,
That's the fucking thing, though. I don't think they are. I don't think they are. I don't think they are. Even if they do bring out the 10th, 11th, 12th generation of consoles, who cares? They're not going to fucking do anything right. They're going to continue this shitty, toxic mentality of, oh, let's fuck over our console fan base, and then now try to appeal to PC dudes. Everybody is fucking selfish in the gaming industry. It's hilarious. They're entitled as fuck, and they think that they deserve our money regardless of what they give us. Fuck you, Sony and Nintendo and Microsoft. Fuck off. You don't deserve any of our money unless we say that you do. And that also goes for the third-party companies as well. None of you deserve our money until we say so. Not until you say so. Jesus Christ, man. But you know, you'll still get stupid-ass fanboys from each company being like, you're just entitled, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is the problem, bro. You have retards like that defending them. It's like, what the fuck? Why are you defending a company that couldn't give two less of a shits about you? They just want the fucking money in your pocket, and you're being a retard and trying to defend their unreasonable business practices? Dude, get a fucking life.
this time, then fuck it, get out of the industry. Toodles.
And that's the end of the video, guys. So I hope you enjoyed. I think we could all agree with some, if not most, if not all, of his points there. I definitely disagreed with only one thing, and that's just like him bringing up let's just bring the 10th generation consoles. I disagree on that, personally. I don't think so. I personally don't think so. Because that's not going to fix anything. What needs to happen is that they need to fix their whole model for consoles now. You know? A new console generation is not going to do that, especially with the trust that they lost within the PS5 and Series X. So wouldn't it make more sense if they fixed what they started, like, fucking up on, right? Wouldn't it make sense if they just fixed what they messed up on for the past 2, maybe 3 generations, right? And then moving on to the next generation of consoles? That's what I would do personally, but whatever. Either way, I think consoles are fucked. Rightfully so. I think they're garbage devices anyways. But that just lack the creativity of every single thing possible, actually. So whatever. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all the good stuff, guys. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.